if you're genuinely serious about changing your life in 2026, you already started off wrong. Already started off wrong. It shouldn't be like, oh, I want to change my life on a Monday. I want to change my life at the start of the year or on a Saturday because I want to do something Friday night. No, fuck that. It's every single day is a new day to get better. And if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. All you have to do is get literally 1% better every single day. Something to get you literally 1% better. And if you get 1% better every day over 365 days, you're 365% better.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Marco Langon today on the Running Effect podcast. Back on the podcast, this dude is an absolute legend. And if you haven't heard my first conversation with him, I literally cannot recommend it enough. It is one of my favorite conversations in the history of the podcast because Marco has this energy about him and his story is remarkable, which we went into more in the first conversation. This conversation was more present and forward facing, talking about some of his final seasons in the NCAA, why he wants to win an NCAA title so bad, his recent training, racing, running 13:05 at BU last month in the 5K, and the ambitions he has to close out his career at Villanova. I love this one. I'm going to keep this intro short. A note for you, if you have young ears around you, this probably isn't the podcast to play out loud. Either wait to listen to it or throw on your AirPods. Some language in this one, so just a caution there. Also, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit the follow button so you don't miss another conversation in the future. Give us a 5-star review. That's the easiest way to help us out for free. And share the podcast with a friend. That's the easiest way in which we can grow. And with all of those notes aside, I hope you all enjoy this wonderful conversation with the ever so wise Marco Langon. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him. He's back on the podcast today. They say new year, new me, but I think this is the very same guy, the fast man that people know and love, Marco Langon. Welcome back to the podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I loved being on here last time, so it's definitely an honor to have me back. So thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, it's a good episode when you're scrolling on your TikTok feed and you're seeing edits made that normally I would have to pay people to make edits for me, and people are
Yeah,
making edits from the pod. So it was a fun
yeah.
one. Fun
No,
one for sure.
that's actually hilarious, man. Yeah, I'm not even a TikTok person, but I'm a Reels person, so I still have some sort of doom scrolling in me. But when it comes to TikTok, I never go on there, and the second I go on, I just see messages from random people of just me, and I mean, like, it's crazy to think how like a few years ago, none of that would have probably happened, and now it's just like I'm just scrolling through and I see a reel. I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty wild.
It's peak life or peak like athletic life when people are making edits about you, and I think you're one of the few college runners that people are making edits of. It's crazy. I wonder with these guys, like niche accounts, not even like in running, but like you'll see movies, music. People have gotten so good at like digital art and editing, and it's crazy, man. I'm
That's
like,
probably
I
just
want to meet some of these people.
it's probably just AI, and they're writing it off as their own. So probably something like that.
Hey, if someone's listening knows how to use AI that well, hit me up. I want to know. I want to know. For you, man, you're back to school after holiday break. Was it hard to stay motivated to train, or you pretty locked
Oh,
in back at home?
absolutely not. I was so happy training. It's funny. So right at literally like 2 days after BU. I took maybe 3 days off, and then I went over to England to see my girlfriend and her family. And she's a pro runner as well. Or I'm not as well, I'm not a pro, but she's a pro. And I was just doing her training literally for the week. And I was just so excited to get back to like my own training in the double threshold and just back to like into a routine. I was really, really excited to get back. And I had a great time over there. And then the second I got back, I pretty much just was training. And what's funny is I'm back on campus now, and I've worked out. I've done plenty of double threshold workouts, a couple track workouts, and I still haven't felt like I've done much. I still feel like not whenever I'm running, whenever I'm just going on an easy run, even doing a workout, it never actually feels like training. It's just something I really do enjoy.
Has it always been that way for you, where you've loved the training, or has it taken time to fall in love with the sport to the point
Oh
where
no,
you've gotten here?
so I had an injury my sophomore year of high school. I got a stress fracture in my metatarsal, and I was literally out for 8 months. And it wasn't even really a running related injury as much as it was just like something else that had happened. I tried doing a tail whip on a scooter, drunk in my friend's garage, and then literally almost broke my ankle. It was sprained so badly. And then I kept running on it, and then just a compensation caused me to get that. And and I came back and I went from running like 20 miles a week my freshman year. I tried to do a week at 50 or 60 or some shit. And within 4 days, I just got an injury. And I was like, oh my God, like it was so bad. And then once I had gotten better, from that point on, I have never woken up and at all and said, shit, I don't want to run today. I have never had a day where I didn't want to work out, didn't want to do a run and people may call that bullshit. I have never came into a situation where I was like, shit, like, oh, I have to run because it's never a matter of fact of, oh, I have to go run. It's I wake up and I get to run and I get to train. For me, the extra shit is doing like the band. I think I've said this before. It's doing the bands. It's doing the stretching. It's all that shit. That's the hard part that you kind of not get burnt out, but you like shit. But the running part, like you enjoy that, and you should enjoy that because it's like it really is a privilege to do the sport. You know.
So you'd say you're a pretty motivated guy, 24/7.
Absolutely. I mean, in the position that I'm into, it doesn't matter if you're motivated or not motivated. Like, I need to make money and make sure me, my mom, my sister, we're stay afloat and everything. And, performances are going to allow me to get more money in my contract. And if I can't carry my end, how do I expect everyone else to carry their end? So I got to carry my end, make sure that I'm doing the right thing. And it's not like I could just wake up and say, I'm gonna skip an easy run, because then that shit seeps through in your head. And then if you're gonna skip an easy run, maybe you're not gonna go the distance in the race, and you're gonna choose to draw back a few places, and that just means that winning isn't everything to you. And to me, like I can't really afford to lose a national title like that. That'll add a lot of money to a pro contract, and I need that money to make sure my family is 100%.
From your experience, being on a team, you don't got to name guys, but even guys know guys, and kind of the other teams and state of the NCAA. Do you feel like, our last conversation, you talked about, your work ethic, how much an opportunity like this meant to you, a lot of what went behind it. Whereas I think a lot of guys, even people I've talked to on the podcast, it's like they've been running since they were 5, went to a private high school, had a great coach, kind of like had everything handed to them. Not saying they didn't work hard, but like kind of get to this level. And then I've heard a lot of stories about guys just like kind of let the ball slip in college and like aren't focused every day, don't get after it. From your experience, is it pretty rare the amount of people who have your mindset, or do you feel like that's pretty common in the NCAA?
You know, I feel like no, you could be successful with any mindset. I mean, I've been around plenty of successful guys that don't necessarily go in with the same amount of intensity that I do. And listen, as intense as I may come off, as crazy as like the shit I say, like I do genuinely believe that like when I'm racing, I'm the best and that I just want to go out and I want to destroy everybody. Like I want to fucking win at all costs. But then when you see me at practice, I'm having the best time ever. I'm just more just like hanging out, having fun, like and I'm still like once I'm doing the reps, I'm intense, I'm getting into it. But then like I've been around someone like Sean Dolan. Sean Dolan's a very type A personality within training, and I'm sure if he listens to this, I definitely had maybe gotten on his nerves one or two times, and he sets me straight right away. But there's so many different ways to go about the sport that you can be successful, and I think what makes people start to slip is when they kind of forget why they started running in the first place. Like, as much as this is my way to make money for my family, I remember the reason that I started the sport, and it was because of just how it just made me feel like accepted as a person. I mean, I don't know my father. My stepdad, he's not in my picture anymore, or my mom's ex-husband now. Like, that, I don't have that shit. So, like, I never really had that like acceptance, from like a male figure, and now I'm like just around like the boys all the time, and they love me like one of their brothers, and I feel like that's just like a huge part of it. And What actually, it's funny when I went down to World Cross and there was a high school coach that saw that I was there. He had messaged me and asked me to come to one of their boys' practices, and the practice was at like 6 a.m. So I showed up at like 6:30. I was like, I'm not fucking. So me and my teammate Charlie Moore, we showed up, and seeing how happy those kids were that I came there was, I mean, such like a fulfilling thing for me. And then I did their cool down, and they cooled down like 4 miles with me. They only needed to do a mile, but then they were like missing their first period class, and just seeing how happy they were and the shit they were saying on runs, and just all like the shit that they were saying, everything just really made me remember, like, damn, I really, why I did the sport in the first place, because even though they were a team from fucking Tallahassee, like, they're no different than my high school team from Bridgewater, New Jersey. So yeah, you kind of just like have that mentality towards it.
Do you like the well, actually before I ask you a more serious question, uh keeping the podcast PG-13 as much as we can. Uh are your high school kids still talking about the same stupid shit we used to, Marco, or is it new stuff?
No, besides fucking 6-7 bullshit, like, yeah, everything is just as dumb and immature and as much as a 16, 15-year-old boy as you possibly could get. Oh my goodness, like, it's unbelievable how, I mean, maybe because they're just like some deep stuff. I can't even. Yeah, they're the exact same. The exact same. I promise you. Like, there's a theme. Like, no matter what sport you do, where whatever state you're from, maybe if you're not from Utah or some shit like that, but if you're from the East Coast, whatever, like you are, everyone's the same. Yeah.
It's so funny, man. I think one of the best experiences, um, honestly, across so many sports, is like being on a team culture, the camaraderie. And I think what makes cross country special, like I'll say compared to other sports, is like football, you kind of have your types, soccer, even you kind of have your types, but like cross country, you have the kid that like his first time running was the first day of practice. You have like the really serious kids, you have like the kids on the bubble, and it makes for just like this fascinating group dynamic.
Mm,
And oh man, some of my most fond memories are like high school practice. I was always serious, and you'd be running in the woods, and you'd see like two of your teammates like messing around in a pond with like sticks going at it, and it's like,
yeah.
boys, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's
then other
great.
kids come back and they've got like brush scars because they played like tag, and then like you have the guys who are like actually serious, and it's just like it's a hilarious tribal feeling.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's great.
Going back to the more serious question I want to ask you, sort of the pressure that you've talked about, needing to win an NCAA title. Do you feel like that has helped you and motivated you, or do you feel like there's been a weight and a cost to that weight?
Oh fuck no! Like that shit. Like, there's always gonna be weight, and I feel like anyone who's like, oh, I can't run with the pressure, I can't run with the stress, dude. Like, stress and anxiety, that's the reason we're living as people today. Like, what's funny is you take a group of 20 people and you throw them in the middle of the fucking mountains or some shit, like fucking, oh my god, what, Yellowstone or whatever that like random area is where there's like those cannibal tribe people, motherfuckers. Like, you throw them all up in there. Now I guarantee only half of those people will survive, because only half of those people are probably in touch and able to handle the anxiety and pressure that it takes to survive. So now you throw them in just a normal modern day society. When you have people that can't actually cohere and handle the pressure and stress, then those are the people that will start to struggle. And it's kind of hard to see that happening. I think a lot of people are very like fed with the silver spoon and everything like that. And listen, like, I want to be like, when I'm a father, like, I want to be able to give my kids and my wife, like, I want to give them everything and anything possible, like, no matter what. But I mean, my rule for my kids one day is going to be, the second you're allowed to work, you're going to get a job. The second you're able to sign up for a sport, you're going to play a sport. No matter what it is, you're going to do something. You're going to get yourself involved. And you're not going to ever be able to quit halfway through. You always have to go the whole season, the whole semester, whatever it is. Because a lot of people, when something starts to get hard, they're just going to quit. And then, dude, if you're doing that at 6 years old, 5 years old, even like in high school, whatever, that's just gonna keep going with you for the rest of your life. And I mean, like you just don't want to be like a loser when you're 40 years old, 50 years old, like just with nothing, you know. I know there's people like that out there that I know, and I'm just like shit, like how like it's just how they grew up is just gonna lead to their future, you know. So I don't wanna be like that at all.
Yeah, different habits and dispositions creep from one thing into the next. Like you can assume
Absolutely.
that if you don't work hard in a sport, it's going to trickle into how you do school or how you, um, you know, if you're a collegiate athlete and you're half-assing workouts, I'm
Yep.
not going to hire you. I'm not going to bet on you to be someone
Yeah.
who's going to stay to get the job done.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We last talked in the summer. You were kind of on your like mini, I think, European like track season campaign.
Yeah.
Take me through that point all the way up to present day. Obviously, big race last month at BU, kind of open up the season. Take me through some of the recent results and progressions.
So yeah, I didn't run USA's because I got COVID. I got back, and then I got back to school, campus, and everything. I already had done a week of running, and I'm trying to think. Just started getting into training and everything. Then went to the Fifth Ave Mile. That was great. I was there just watching people I know. My girlfriend, she raced, and then I saw a bunch of like alumni from Villanova that were really cool. Like just the guys in the past I was on the team with. That was sick. And then I pretty much from there did like one workout, then got right back into it, and I just kept doing the double threshold for a bit. And then I started doing some hills, like two hill workouts. If you go on my Strava, you'll see everything. And then I took a little 4 day hiatus because I thought I had a stress fracture in my foot and on the bottom of my foot. It was like it hurt pretty bad. I was like, shit, like I don't know what's going on. Got the MRI, it was clear. And but there was still pain. And it ended up just being like sesamoiditis, metatarsalgia, like all that shit. Like just on the bottom of my foot was all like fucked up. Then literally just was having great double threshold workouts, the mile repeats, and we do the lactic testing. And honestly, there was really nothing special that I did. I did a 600 workout at 5K pace. I did an 800 workout at 5K pace, and both of those were off 90 seconds. Uh, what else did I do? I did a time, not a time trial, but a hard effort where I did a 2,400, so a mile and a half. At I went through the mile in 4:04 and just finished at that pace. And I did that solo. And I did some 500s after that at 60-second pace. And then did a workout that was on the Stride Report and then on their YouTube channel. And then I just raced Boston, and I didn't feel like I had done anything going into it. I just knew I wanted to win, and I didn't win, but I knew I was like at the point where I needed to be. So I ran 13:05, which was a PB, but I mean that's really not what I'm trying to do. I'm not here to try to PB. I'm here to win a national title. That's really what it is, you know?
And just so I'm clear, were you out of cross eligibility? So you just trained through the
No, I
fall?
have I have cross eligibility because I may take a fifth year next year,
Okay.
and I'm only 21. So I actually, and then my 21st birthday was in August, August 31st. So I had a great time with the boys. That was amazing. That was an amazing night. So yeah. So that was like another little update in my life. But yeah, I do have cross country, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna take it. I mean, I would take it just to try to win a tie. And it's funny, I was thinking about taking it this year or using it this year. I was like, because I was already like as fit as I ever been, so I'm like, I could attempt to win the title. So it'll just have to wait if I choose to go down that route, you know.
Was the reasoning behind not running cross this year just because your track season went so late? You got COVID.
Yeah, we didn't think I would be fit really, and then I've been testing better than I ever have. Been testing better than Pat Tiernan, and like when he won a cross title. So I mean, if I'm doing better than one of the greatest white runners in collegiate cross country history, then I mean, shit, like I could win a title this year, you know.
Was
But
your coach doing lactic testing all the way back
yeah, yeah,
then?
he was doing like
Wow, he
more
was ahead of the
LT.
time.
He was doing more LT where it was like 3 to 5 millimole stuff, and we're more doing like the 1 to 2 during the threshold shit. So yeah, the philosophy's changed a bit in terms of what areas we want to work, but in terms of fitness, it's all relative. So you could kind of gauge where you're at.
He broke my heart. I was a big Ed Ches fan, and he stole the show. He
Yeah,
stole the
yeah,
show.
took away that 4 Pete.
It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's crazy, man. It always, I feel like across sports, you always have those stories where the king on the trajectory to do something. I mean, you even saw that with Ches and Josh Kerr. I remember this was like one of the first years I got into running. I was
yeah.
so young, and I was like put on like my mom's iPad, ESPNU, and it's like the indoor meet, and like I was watching because Ches had run 352 indoors, which was the
Mm,
record at the time, and so I was like seeing if he'd do something at the meet. And then this freshman from New Mexico, I'm like, who is this guy? And then
mm.
Josh Kerr
Yeah,
becomes Josh Kerr. But
yeah,
it's so hard to win like at any level. It's so deep, the NCAA is.
absolutely. Yeah, there's always
What's your
somebody.
what's your take on all of the controversy in the NCAA right now? If you ran NCAA cross, only 5 Americans in the top 30, I think. What's kind of your perspective on that world?
No matter what, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. I don't have any problem seeing and listen, what people have the issue with is it's the Kenyans in the NCAA that people are referring to. Like when they say, "Oh, the recruiting from overseas," they're not looking at someone like Fawama Saudi from Morocco or George Cootie from Britain. They're looking at the Africans, and I don't see a single problem with them being in the sport. Or because it's like they have the right to come to America to get a better life and better education and compete. But what the issue actually is, and I'm going to speak fully on it, is when people are paying recruiting websites like Scholarbook, or there's another website where you're paying $30,000, something like that, to get a Kenyan, and you're not going overseas over yourself, or going overseas yourself, actually recruiting that person. Like you're getting just a site to do it for you, and then like, oh, they don't live up to the expectations, so well, you have no ties to them, they're not American, you just cut them from the team, screw up their visa, like all that shit. No, like that's not respectful, because one, you're screwing up someone who's trying to make a better life, and then two, when you're not actually getting the athlete yourself, you're kind of just cheating the system. That's the only issue there is. Then I think there should be an age cap in the NCAA. I think if you're 24 years old competing, I mean, I was 17 years old my freshman year in the NCAA. You're so you're I'm competing against someone 8 years older than me, right? Like what? Like no. I think like there's maybe a little bit of an issue with that. But at the end of the day, like I want to be the best runner to ever, I want to be the best in the world. I want to be the best to ever live. That's always going to be the goal. And I think if you're if you're a top runner in the NCAA, deep down you really want that to be that you really want that. And at some point, you're going to have to compete against these people. So why not compete against them now? And people are saying, "Oh, well, it's screwing up Americans getting scholarships." It's going to force you to run harder and run better and lock in earlier. So I think that right there is in itself like very good. So, yeah. Besides that, I don't see a problem with other people being in or other countries being in the NCAA. I have no problem with that.
Do you think that what it'll do though is force kids to train harder in high school, maybe burn
No.
out sooner? No?
No, I think it's going to put more emphasis on smaller D1 schools and make people realize that D2 and D3 schools are just as good as D1 schools, or that JUCO is just as good as a D1 school, because at the end of the day, it's not it doesn't matter what facility, what area, it's how much are you really willing to put into the sport. I mean, you look at Roman legendary. I don't think he should have been in the NCAA. He's old as shit, but he went Division 2, or Adam State's Division 2, I'm pretty sure. Great Division 2 program right there. What's wrong with going to a school like that? Like, it's just because it's not D1. You still get scholarship in D2. Now you don't get scholarship in D3, but you could still go to a pretty cheap D3 school, and you could still compete. And then you really want this running thing, you really want to be good at running. you can go all in college. So why not do that? Like you don't have to go D1 to be successful. Look at Nick Simmons, one of the greatest American runners in history. He didn't go D1. Look at Fred Curley. He went JUCO before he went Division 1. There's so many examples that you could think of that people kind of just want to blame it on foreigners being in the NCAA, which I don't think is necessarily the way to go. You want to talk about 25-year-olds being in here? Yeah, hell yeah, get them the fuck out. But no, like that's it.
Well, I think there's concern though with even foreigners, like a lot of them specifically from East African countries, not their fault. So I'm not like accusing them of doing anything wrong, but like they don't even know what year they were born in. There's long time been
Yeah,
speculation of pro marathoners like being way older than they actually are.
yeah. So then if you don't have an actual birth certificate, then clearly like you I mean, listen, they know enough to be able to get into really good training at such a young age and be in these training camps, and you got brands giving like their countries or their area, their villages, whatever deals. Like, I'm not going to say they should have access to, or that they 100% are going to get access to that, but I do think that you should have a birth certificate if you're going to be in the NCAA. But I mean that's my take on that. And I mean if you got here, you're already here, so you shouldn't be kicked out. That's my opinion.
In regards to 1305, a couple years ago, like 5-10 years ago, that would have been like a generational athlete in the NCAA. Now gets you second place at BU's opener, and it's crazy that we're in the conversation that we can have multiple sub 13 guys in the NCAA. What's your take on just how good the NCAA has gotten, and also for you, like we're talking about pro contracts, winning an NCAA title to boost the value of a pro contract. But I think you'd agree with me that like you've probably done enough so far to secure a pro contract. Is your focus more so how do I make this the highest value contract possible through my performances?
Yeah, no, it's definitely how do I get the most out of this? How do I pump the most money out of it? And to do that, it's winning a national title and to see how good collegians have gotten that were better than a lot of professional athletes, I think is one of the coolest things. And it just goes to show that we're all just pushing each other. Like, I mean, if I didn't see like Ethan and Parker last year run 7:30, I would have not in a million years been like, oh, I'm gonna run 7:27 this year. Like, I feel like everyone keeps pushing the bar for each other, which is great. But at the end of the day, you get on the line and it's fuck everybody. Like, you want to win. So, yeah.
Is there anyone that you line up against that you're particularly excited to race and beat?
Oh, yeah, everybody that I step on the line. And listen, at the end of the day, I don't step on the line and I'm like looking at another athlete. Everyone to me is the same, is the same. I don't look because the second you start to familiarize yourself with other athletes is the second like you get on the track and you start to give them recognition, you start to let doubt creep in. The second I get on the line, it's all everybody's the same. I'm better than all these people. And you just got to execute on the day. But I want to beat the best in the NCAA. I mean, Brian Massau is the reigning national champion. I want to take that title. I know Habtom is the national champion in cross country. I want to beat him. I beat him in the 3K before, but I need to beat him in the 5K to prove that I'm more dominant. Gary, I've beat him a bunch of times, but he's someone who graduated in the same high school class, used to absolutely fucking kill me when we raced in high school, and now I've exceeded him or at the same level, however you guys want to look at that. But that's someone who I always keep wanting to beat. Like these are all people that I want to beat, and I know I will. So yeah,
What distances are you trying to target looking at mean the most to you?
5K, 3K, definitely. And I mean 5K at NCAAs, I already ran one, so it's like I don't need to anymore unless 16 people run 13:05 or better. Then I think I'm in trouble. Uh, then in the 3K. I'm racing New Balance Grand Prix, which I'm excited to do. And then in the mile, I'm racing at BU Valentine, so I'm excited to do that as well. And then probably a DMR somewhere in there. So I'm definitely excited to get a little more competition in this year.
In terms of New Balance Grand Prix, assuming you'll be racing pros there, do you like mixing it up with the pros given that you are still an NCAA guy? I know pros have an ego, but probably as they should, and don't like being beat by people a lower quote unquote level than them. Do you appreciate that opportunity?
To fuck him, deal with it. Like, who cares? Like, you guys want to be everyone that's in that race. They all want to be the best. So you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Does your racing strategy change at all, college to pro? And in the pro races, do you find it easier to sympathize losing because it's a level above you
No,
technically?
absolutely not. You lose, you lose. It's every listen. I go into every single race with the same amount of nerves. Like if I'm going into fucking if I like Big East meet in the 5K, when there's not the biggest amount of competition, not trying to be disrespectful, but there's not a lot of competition in that. I have the same amount of nerves, pressure, and anxiety that I would have going into an NCAA final. The same exact amount. So if I lose a pro race, I'm gonna be just as mad as losing a college race, you know? It's like losing fucking sucks. That defeating of feeling of someone being better than you sucks. But you you get on with it right away. You know, it's like it's on to the next thing. It's like just like when you win. It's all right, cool, on to the next thing. You never don't take time to soak it in because those are the times that you become most vulnerable and people could get another step above you and like get like a little bit sharper, a little bit more edgier than you know. So you can never let that slide.
Is there any athlete in the world across the distances you specialize in that if you were to line up against them, you would nervous isn't the right word because I'm sure you'd be nervous, but that you would have a little like I'm cooked. Like line up against Hakan Biggerbits and like he's gonna beat me. I'm
I
racing
mean,
for second now.
like if you want to if you want to dig that far down, yeah, you're never gonna if I'm racing Joshua Cheptegei at a 10K, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm fucked. But I'm still gonna go in with the same amount of belief that I could
Would you try to
go
beat
in, you
him
know?
or would you try to run your own
I
race?
Nah, I'd probably just try to lose to him. Yeah, you're always gonna try to beat the people that you're competing against. You know, it doesn't matter who it is, and you obviously need to race smart and controlled. And if smart and controlled keeps you in the front pack where you have a shot to win, you always got to be ready. You know, it's like uh a basketball it's same thing like a basketball player like on the bench your starter gets injured that motherfucker got to be ready warmed up got shots in been to practice doing all that to be ready to get up and take that starting spot from his teammate, you know, it's the same exact thing.
Is for you, would you rather like approach races from the opportunity of like home run or like crash and burn or realistic result that you know you can do? Like for instance,
I don't
at B
well I okay I there is not a single race that I will be running that is over my head and that I can't win, not a single race that I will be running this year that I know of right now that I will race and be like, I can't win this. So, as far as I'm concerned, there's not a single race where I'm like, oh, I cannot win because I'm in races that I am capable of winning and I won't accept anything less than that.
who do we got to call to put you in the Milrose 2 mile?
My coach, because he will not let that happen. Yeah,
Did you
I would.
think about it?
So we had thought about getting myself into Milrose, but it just wouldn't have worked with the schedule. I wanted to do Grand Prix because that's a 3K. And I know that I will be able to get a qualifying time for NCAAs. And then it just wouldn't work 5 days later running a 2 mile. Like the 2 mile wouldn't do anything for me except for like I could run really fast. And I think everyone in that field will break the world record without a doubt.
Really?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Do you think you would be in the mix if you ran it?
I mean, I'll be there. I don't think I have the strength to win yet. I'm not as aerobically developed as some. Maybe actually no. It's all these guys' first races. Like they may not be sharp. They may be tired being at altitude the whole time, or they may be like coming off a little something. So you always got to be ready to win. And I could have a good one, you know. But still, at the end of the day, you have the Olympic medalists in that field. You got to be ready at all times. I mean, you look at Ethan. You think people were saying like, "Oh yeah, Ethan's like a world beater. He's gonna beat Cole Hawker in the U.S. trials." No, people weren't like that. But he didn't give a fuck what other people were thinking. It was what he was thinking. He knows he could compete. So it's like the same thing, you know. You just always got to believe that you could compete with the best.
How do you view your career in terms of like you made a comment there about those guys, a little more like aerobically developed. They've had more time to have years of, 80, 90, 100-mile weeks, all the development, all the racing, all the tactics. When you think about your career, how do you're young, you just turned 21. Like, are you excited that you're running 13:05 at such a young age and chopping it up in such races?
I don't stay complacent, It's not like I'm looking at myself, glazing myself, like, oh, I ran 13:05 in this No, fuck that. Like I'm here to slot on everybody. I'm here to really get down and compete. That's all it is about to me. It's not about running a time, it's about competing and winning. That is what matters because you're not you, you don't do this sport to just run a fast time. You do it so you could win and so you could be better than other people. Like not better than other people, but so you could be the best. You just want to be the best. And I'm just saying what every other athlete's thinking. Everyone else that is running track, they all are thinking the same exact thing. Like I want to win, I want to be able to compete. So I'm just vocal about it.
What do you think separates you from other people?
Probably how much it really does mean to me. This is my way to make a living, and will be my way to provide for my mom and sister. And I mean, those are the two most important people in my life. Those are the people that have always been with me. So if I can't provide for them, then I feel like a failure as a man. I'm the oldest male in the house right now. So as that, you have to take it upon yourself to provide no matter what. Oldest male in the house, always provide. That's your job. Anyone who thinks otherwise is fucking pathetic. Like that's your fucking job. And I know that I will be able. I mean, I've been very fortunate with Diodora, and they've been able to help me a lot with doing that. And yeah, I'm going to continue to do that. So if if winning an NCAA title and there's people in my way, fuck him. Like I'm going out to get it because I know that when I sign pro, that's going to mean a lot, and I need that title more than guarantee you anybody else out there.
For you, viewing this indoor season, just like future in the NCAA, how much longer in the NCAA do like if you win an NCAA title indoors, is that immediate? I'm gonna go pro. Is it weighing your
No,
options?
because no, because I need to win the
Okay.
Penn Relay wheel.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
need to
Take
win
me
the.
through
I
the
need. I need.
qualifications. What do you want to do?
To be a Villanova great, you have to win a Penn. You have to anchor a Penn Relay wheel. And Liam Murphy, he anchored three Penn Relay wheels. I need to do that if I want. It doesn't matter. I can win three NCAA titles. In my eyes, I still won't think I'm as good as Liam because Liam was able to get it done at Franklin Field. I need to be able to do that to be considered one of the. Even Marcus himself, like our coach, has admitted, he said, "You want to be a Villanova great, you have to anchor a wheel." So no, at minimum, I'm doing outdoor, and then I'm going for the outdoor title as well. And then I I'm back and forth on whether I'd want to run cross or not, but it all kind of just depends. But I wouldn't have to do a full fifth year if I win Penn Relays this year.
So Penn Relays is almost like your second Super Bowl. You'll
Yeah,
probably care about that more than other people.
yeah, essentially, yeah. So at Penn, I mean, that's the most anxious you'll ever be. So I mean, the fact that Liam was able to navigate his feelings during that time was the most unbelievable and inspiring thing to me.
Is it hard in a situation like that where it's not just on you, it's on three other people to even put you in you could run the race of your life and be in a bad position and not win?
Marcus O'Sullivan, when he ran the Penn Relays in the 4x15, he told his teammates before. Actually, I'll just tell you the story. His junior year, they lost literally everything, lost every title. But the day before both the relays, he went into church at Villanova and he's like, God, he was a little sick, run down, a little bit injured. And he said, God, please just give me the strength to win tomorrow. Just get me through this weekend, please. Just we need to get this wheel. They lost everything. And he sat there and he cried and he was thinking about going home. So he went home for the summer. First thing he did was go to his coach, Donnie Walsh, and Donnie, he's a character for anyone who's watching this who may know him. He's a for sure a character, and he he ran at Villanova. He was second to Prefontaine at NCAA's, and he goes into like the bar, goes in the back, and he's like first thing he says is show me your journal, and he said this is all shit. Like looking at his training, this is horrible. And he said you're gonna start tomorrow. And he's like, I have a camping trip to like I'm going on a camping trip. And he said, no, you're starting tomorrow. So that week he logged like 80 miles while going camping, and he ended up coming back to school. And that entire year he ran 100 miles a week, and he got second to Joaquin Cruz at the NCAA's. And Joaquin, I mean, we always pick on Marcus and say like, "Oh, you never won an NCAA title," and he's like, "Yeah, well, the guy who took the NCAA title for me is an Olympic gold medalist." So it's pretty crazy to think about that. And then, well, outdoor rolls around, and he pretty much is in the same position. He's still but he's training hard this time. And the first day they lose a relay, and Marcus is stressed, devastated, and he's like, "Fuck, we have one more opportunity." He goes to church that night, and he comes across this revelation and realized that he was asking for God to give him the strength to win, and him losing those 2 years or those two relays the year prior and almost going home gave him the strength to run all these 100-mile weeks, train as hard as he possibly can. And he said, God, thank you for giving me the strength to win. Went out, and he said to his teammates, he said, give me the baton within 50 meters and I'm going to win. And he gets a baton 50 meters back, goes out in like 56, and then catches up to the Arkansas guy in front. I forget who it was at the time, but he wins, and he runs like 3:53. Or it was a 4 by mile, so he ran for 3:53. Yeah.
It's crazy. Legendary
Yeah.
stuff. You'll have a
So
hard
it's
time topping that one.
yeah.
That story. That's a great story. That's a great
Yeah.
story. For you, clearly, by that's, you saying you want to win a wheel, you're clearly in this sport for more than just like individualistic reasons. You care about Villanova deeply. How much does leaving a legacy behind there mean to you?
Legacy, that shit doesn't mean anything to me, you know. Legacy, that's just your ego. Legacy is just another word for ego. Like at the end of the day, everyone's gonna die, and that shit doesn't matter. Like whether you leave a good or bad legacy, it's you're dead and you're gone. So to me, it's more about giving the school something else to be. It's not even about me at that point. It's giving the school something else to be proud about. It's not about my legacy. It's giving the school legacy and giving myself to the school because the school has given me everything I could possibly dream of. It gave me a future. It provided me with education. It gave me the ability to provide for my mom and sister. It gave me the ability to meet so many wonderful people in my life that I have now, like my teammates, my girlfriend, my friends. Like it's just an unbelievable experience to be able to represent Villanova, you know?
Notable alumni one day could be Pope Leo and then like Marco Langon, maybe
Yeah,
right below him.
hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you see. There's so many reels of people handing stuff out to Pope Leo. So I think if you win the chip, I think we got to make like a custom Marco Langon singlet, throw it to the Pope, coordinate.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
He
You
seems to
probably
be
get
pretty
you
into
probably
Villanova pride. That dude
yeah.
seems pretty into U.S. culture. Like he
Oh
he
yeah,
gets it.
he understands. He grew up South Side Chicago, so I'm sure he understands real American culture.
I had someone I know in Columbus, somewhat buddy of mine. Not super close with him, but like I know people who know him. I've hung out with him before. He found like this popular, I don't know Chicago culture that well, but like this pizza spot that was like famous in Chicago.
Yeah.
Got a slice of pizza, and he coordinated like his goal, and he made like a series on Instagram about it. His goal was to get the Pope that pizza, and he ended up doing it. The Pope got
Wow.
the pizza, and then his brother got interviewed, and he asked like, "Oh, did you eat it?" And he did. So my friend from Columbus coordinated a slice of pizza. So we can get this done, man. We're gonna get him in a Villanova something. Marco Langan,
Absolutely.
if you win the title,
Yeah.
cherry on top.
When I win
Um,
the title.
yeah,
Yeah.
more motivation for you. More motivation for you to win. Great dad lore. I could talk to you all day, man. So we'll wrap this one up. More for another time. But final question for you, forward facing for the audience. New Year's resolutions, all that stuff that I'm sure you love to hear. What would you actually say to those listening who want to change their life with running in 2026?
Like what should be their New Year's resolution?
No, I'm just like joke. Like everyone has a
Oh,
New Year's resolution. They're all
oh.
probably done by this point. Like, what would you say to the people who are genuinely serious about changing their life in 2026?
If you're genuinely serious about changing your life, in 2026, you already started off wrong. Already started off wrong. It shouldn't be like, oh, I want to change my life on a Monday. I want to change my life at the start of the year or on a Saturday because I want to do something Friday night. No, fuck that. It's every single day is a new day to get better. And if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. All you have to do is get literally 1% better every single day. Something to get you literally 1% better. And if you get 1% better every day over 365 days, you're 365% better. No matter, like, no matter what. All you have to do is just get 1%. And you do that 1% and it adds up over time. So it's not like, oh, I want to start this at a certain time. It's like you could start it now, 100%. And that's really all you have to think.
I love it, man. Marco, thanks for being so generous with your time. Always coming on. Greatly appreciate it. I'll
Absolutely, man.
cheer like you for hell this indoor season, this outdoor season, and keep crushing it, man. Proud of you.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you.